So, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Homeschooling Philippines. We are now in July, and I know most of you have chosen your homeschool provider and are eager to start your school year. However, if until now you still haven't decided yet, you can send us a message so we can help you. And it's good that we have a lot of information online that can help us, homeschooling parents, on how to homeschool our teens. As a parent, I have encountered a lot of challenges homeschooling my son. So I hope this video will help you and would like to let you know that you are not alone in your journey. And today, we are very fortunate to have with us a talented lady who will tell us why she chose this path, her reasons why she decided to homeschool, and mainly, we will discuss what are the common homeschool problems that she encountered and how was she able to cope up. So let us welcome the pretty Elise Suarez.
Hello po, good morning. Thank you for having
Yay!
me.
How are you, Elise? Kamusta ang
I'm
sitwasyon in your
okay.
area?
Okay naman po. We're medyo late lang with how many COVID patients have been being tested as positive. So, nung tumataas yung Manila and other parts of the Philippines kami zero. Ngayon pa lang lumalabas na positive cases. So, we're a bit late in the curve. Pero hopefully we're able to learn from the other parts of the Philippines and how they handled it para we're able to control the situation here. It won't get as bad as other parts of the Philippines.
Mhm. That's right. Pero even if the situation is bad, no, I'm sure you still have something to be grateful for. What are you grateful for today,
Oh
Elise?
yeah. I'm grateful na our families and most of our close friends are all healthy naman. None of us have really been hit badly by the virus or none of our relatives. We only had one relative who passed away recently, but it wasn't COVID
Oh,
related.
okay.
But I'm grateful na none of us have had like the stress or the sadness or like the worry of having gotten the virus. So I'm grateful
Mhm.
for that. And also na it's starting to rain na hindi na mainit.
Yes. Okay. Now, for the benefit of our viewers, can you tell us something about yourself? I mean, what grade level are you? Your son you're taking in senior high school, about your family, anything about yourself.
Okay, hi hello again. My name is Insight and I live in Puerto Princesa, Palawan with my family and my dad, my mom, and my brother, my younger brother. And we've lived in Palawan for around 10 years ever since we migrated from Manila. And I've been homeschooling. I homeschooled nung grade 1 pa lang ako. Then I went to school for grade 2 and grade 3. But then went back grade 4 until right now. I'm entering senior high this July, next month with CO2. And as a grade 11 hum student. And I also write for the local newspaper, Palawan News, as a columnist and a contributor.
So you started grade one and then went back to traditional school and then went back to homeschooling grade four.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes, grade
parang
4 until now.
until now. So grade two and grade three ka lang nag-traditional school. So only 2 years.
Yes, for my in my
Okay,
grade school life, in my grade school life.
okay. And but during this quarantine, what have you been doing? I mean, nag-TikTok ka rin ba like any other teens? Or nag-face up ka rin ba?
I tried rin eh. Honestly, I tried rin TikTok pero di ko nakuha eh. Hindi ko na-figure out. Kaya yung friends ko na lang, pinapadala na lang ako ng videos. I don't make na lang. Masyadong complicated. Pero, well, even if I can't figure out TikTok, like, there's other things, like, there are other apps rin naman to make videos. So, I tried making my own videos and because I missed my friends. So, I made videos about my friends and our old pictures, gano'n. Tapos, what else did I do during quarantine? Oh, I watched K-dramas. Kasi, this is my treat. It was supposed to be graduating junior high. I was gonna treat myself to Netflix. I'll buy myself a Netflix account. So, I got myself Netflix account for 3, 4 months. And that's all I did. In-enjoy ko talaga. So, that was my graduation gift to myself. I bought myself Netflix. And then, what else? I reading a few books that I wasn't able to when I was studying. And then, maraming Zoom call with my friends. Tsaka, I also participated in online camps.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been going to summer camps kasi for the past 5 years. Eh. In real life, like going to Manila and doing some summer leadership camps. And I've been a counselor twice na. But since it couldn't happen in real life this year, we did online camp na lang. So, we did online games, online talent night, online quizzes, like all of it. And then I participated in one, and then there's another one upcoming in a few weeks. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Busy. Ang daming ginawa. Okay. And congratulations, by the way, no, for graduating or moving up. Kasi grade 10 ka,
Thank
no?
you.
Ngayon, grade 11 ka na. So how was your celebration? Because the moving up was online, so it was virtual. So how did you celebrate it with your family?
Buti naman at that time, we were lucky na some restaurants are still open for delivery. So we just ordered na lang delivery food. Tapos, yun, we watched the live stream on Facebook. So, yun lang. And we were laughing kasi I wasn't in Manila to get my grad pic taken. So we sent in a picture of my face lang and then my shoulders. Tapos nagulat na lang kami. I saw my picture, meron na pala akong toga. Pinotoshop na pala ako ng toga. I was like, wow! I didn't have to go na pala to Manila. Pero yeah, that was funny. Nagulat kami. But it was a funny surprise.
Thank you for technology, no? They were able to do that
Yes.
for you. Okay. So you went back when you were in grade 4. So until now, you're homeschooling. But may we know, for the benefit of our viewers, why did you homeschool? What are your reasons why you chose this type of learning environment?
Well, the reason why we homeschooled again grade 4 was because of the good experience we had in grade 1. So, the reason why we homeschooled in grade 1 is because we were transferring to Palawan from Manila. And because of let's say, the stress and the disorganization of having to move to a different part of the Philippines, I was going to miss, if I enrolled, I would have missed like half the year. Or if I enrolled when I got here na, I would have missed half the year. So my parents decided, homeschool na lang para we can learn habang we're packing boxes, we're going to the airport, we're doing our schoolwork, ganun. So that's what we did for day one. It was a very fun experience. But then, syempre, we at that time, we only thought, oh, just do it for 1 year, let's go to school, like everyone else, the usual, for grade 2 and grade 3. But in grade 3, I got super, let's say, bogged down by the schoolwork. Napagod ako and during that summer, I got sick. The summer after my grade 3, the summer after grade 3, I got sick by like yung unknown virus at the time. Yung
Mm-hmm.
high fever na lang. Nothing serious, high fever lang talaga. It just won't
Mm-hmm.
go down. Walang ibang symptoms. So I
Mm-hmm.
just had that. And buti na lang after a month na I was sick, and after getting confined na rin, the doctors just said, maybe you should rest. Don't go to school, rest, take your time to heal, and if ever you get a relapse, you'll have to do more tests. And so that's why we homeschooled again. Like, okay, we know how to do it now, let's homeschool again. So that was really the first reason, just because of my health situation. But
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
because it was so enjoyable na, it was like a very slow pace, very different from real school, traditional
Mm-hmm.
school. Because it
Mm-hmm.
was very different. And it suited my personality na I like to do many different things. I like
Mm-hmm.
to explore different things. We decided na even if I was better na after that year of homeschooling, we decided tuloy-tuloy na lang. Kasi
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's a good experience naman. I gained a lot from it. So tuloy-tuloy na until now.
That's great. Pero syempre, you went back to traditional school, grade 2 and grade 3. So, before going back to homeschool, do you have some fears about it?
From what I remember, it was mostly related to friends, social life. Kasi I had a good amount of friends in school for grade 2 and grade 3. And at the time, when you're in grade school, parang your friends are your everything eh. They're your whole world eh. Your classroom is your whole world. So I was saying, syempre, I was gonna miss them. Pero there was always the promise na, I'll visit school sometimes, ganyan, ganyan. Pero yun, I think that was the biggest thing that I had to adjust to na walang classmates.
Mhm,
In the
mhm.
beginning, masaya siya kasi like ako lang, I'm the star. I can study on my own. But then eventually, as like the months went on, parang I started like, oh, I miss playing in the playground. I miss
Mhm.
playing bata bola in recess. I miss like, talking behind the back of the teacher while she's writing on the blackboard. Mga ganun, little things. And then I tried visiting school run a few times, but of course, since they have different lives, they have different experiences, and like ibang classmates na rin, we grew apart na.
Mm,
And
mm.
at the time, hindi pa ako pinayagan mag-social media. So, wala, I didn't, like, halos, like, cut off contact na from the rest of my old classmates. So,
Mhm,
that was, I
mhm.
think, the hardest part was that I had to lose a few friends because I couldn't spend time with them every day. And
Mhm.
yun nga, social media wasn't that big for kids pa then. Eh.
Mm, mm.
So, yun, I think that was the biggest part. And also maybe schedule kasi another struggle was also the schedule because in school there's like a very rigorous schedule. And
Mhm,
then
mhm.
when I first started, walang masyadong schedule because my mom nga was trying to help me recover from the
Mhm.
sickness and like sleep as
Mhm.
much as you want, eat as long as you want, eat as much as you want. So really got healthy again. But yun lang,
Mhm.
I kind of lost the schedule in
Mhm,
my first
mhm.
year of homeschooling.
Mhm,
So yeah,
mhm.
I really had to adjust in the future, in like future years because nga that first year I was super lax. So like, it was a bit difficult to get back to the schedule after
Mhm.
that first year.
Mhm, mhm.
So yun naman yung struggle so far. And then last struggle that came was nung high school na ako. The subject started getting harder and my
Mhm.
parents were having a harder time teaching me. So yun, that was the other struggle that we had to figure out.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay. So you mentioned, no, junior high school. Syempre, it's a different level, no?
Yeah.
Grade school is a bit easy, no? Pero pag sa junior high school, syempre, subjects are a bit harder na. So let us discuss for junior high school, for grade 7, when you started, how did you prepare? I mean, what materials did you use? Do you have a study area? So things like that. Because parents, newbie parents who will be homeschooling their child, grade 7, now during the school year, would like to know how to prepare. So for you, how did you prepare your materials?
Well, to be honest, we treated it like any other grade. We didn't really think na parang it's going to be that different. We just treated it like it's another grade, more books again, another set of materials. So we didn't really make a big deal out of like, oh, high school na. Parang ako lang yun, like, parang, oh, high school na, I'm high school na. Pero in terms of like in preparation, we didn't really do anything different. But
Mm-hmm.
then I think rin, which is a good in some ways it's a good thing rin kasi you can just get to work kaagad. But on the other hand also, we didn't realize na at first na it was gonna be very different to grade school. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes from the gap in what they teach in grade 6 and grade 7 is very wide. Like parang algebra na kaagad from when you
Mm-hmm.
were doing like much simpler in grade 6. So for that, yun, we didn't forgot, but it didn't cross our mind na, ay, mas mahirap ata to. It would be more difficult. Because we've been doing it for so long na. Wala masyadong hitch that we didn't really plan ahead for grade 7 in terms of like support. But then, luckily, the subjects that I was having hard times with were math mostly and science. And since my dad really loves science, okay na ako dun. It's fine. But then for math, syempre, everyone's problem, I think most students' problem, we had tutors naman.
Okay.
Either there were like, parang like an eye level or NOT or common, like a center like that. We were
Mm-hmm.
able to go there for supplementary worksheets. And also they agreed to help us with our schoolwork. So if you had
Mm-hmm.
any questions related to our schoolwork, they'd help us. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I was before this whole COVID thing, I was applying for senior high school entrance exams, preparing. They helped me in review grade 10 math. they helped me figure it out. So they helped me review as well as pass my exams in grade 10. So yun, I think, so that's what you're able to just parang get extra help from outside. If we can't
Mm-hmm.
do it ourselves, there's always other people who are much better at it who can help us. So that's what we figured out.
Okay, so that's right, parents know. I mean, other parents would be afraid because they don't know how to teach their child. But you can get help. You can hire a tutor, or you can ask help from other relatives like yung kay Elise, no, her dad or other people, no. Don't be afraid to ask for help, parents. But Elise, can you tell us what was your schedule? I mean, can you give us a sample schedule for a week or for a day, or how many hours per day did you do your homeschool?
For how many hours a day? Our parents run a preschool here in Palawan. So our schedule every morning, we have to wake up, dress up, like we're going out or we're going to actual school, and then leave with our parents to go to the preschool, which is it's only a few blocks away from our house. But then it didn't feel natuloy na parang, we're going to study at home in our pajamas. So we really had to get the habit of, okay, school mode, dress up, no more pajama, brush your hair, brush your teeth, ganun. And then we go to somewhere else, we go to the school, and then we study there. So for, medyo nga sabay with the students in the preschool. Eh. When they're
Mm-mm.
studying, we're studying also. When they're having lunch,
Mm-hmm.
we're also having lunch. Snack time, o sige, break rin. So usually from, let's say, 10 o'clock, we start at 10 o'clock, then have lunch. Then start again at 1 o'clock, 1 or 2 o'clock, and then by 5 p.m. we go home na. Or like we're done na with our schoolwork, we could do other things. So it's very flexible and because there were also extracurriculars like badminton, music lessons, there's tutorials. So it was very flexible, but it was always a full day. So even if it wasn't scheduled to the time, we knew what we had to do for that day. So like, okay, you have 3 hours before badminton. Here are the things you need to do for the weekend and manage your own time. Like that's how it worked for me as a high schooler. Like my mom didn't really make it very strict. She just made me do my own schedule and plan exactly like, oh, I think this is gonna take a week long. So I'll start ahead na. Or like, oh, I can do this in 15 minutes. Or I'll do it later na because madali lang. So she made me manage my own schedule and my own time. As long as I don't miss those important days, important times like badminton, tutorial, lunch, sleep. So but it was very flexible. It's just we just had to make sure that we knew the workload and we had to estimate how long it would take and also how efficiently I could do it, which ones needed help, which ones didn't. So it was all about managing our own time and
Mm-hmm.
knowing our own like skills or capabilities. And then if kailangan ng tulong, tutulungan mo lang.
That's great, no? So, makikita mo na in homeschooling, you really can tweak your schedule, no? It's very flexible, no? But can you recall, so you went back to homeschooling when you were in grade 4. Can you recall how was your first day? I mean, did your mom had this blackboard where she would teach you the topic, just like in a classroom setup? Paano nyo ginawa sa family
Uh,
nyo ito?
I had my own corner. We prepared a corner in our house. Meron akong table, meron akong bookshelf, and then yung books ko. I had new pencils. I had new markers. I was so excited. Pero we didn't do like blackboard anymore. It was more like, oh, let's read the book together. Ato, can you do it on your own? Yeah, I can do it on my own. I'll tell my mom when I'm finished. Then let's move on. And then it was more, it was, it wasn't that she was teaching me like a teacher. It was more like guiding me so that I could do it myself. Now, eventually, I was doing it on my own na.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was reading the parts that I could read on my own, answering on my own,
Mm-hmm.
tuloy-tuloy lang. Sometimes I'm playing music. Tapos, when I was grade 4, I was sobrang obsessed with sound of music. Palagi akong listening to the sound of music or pag break time, pinapanood ko yung sound of music. Ganun. So, so while I'm studying it, it's playing there, ganun. But then, yeah, she wasn't teaching me with the whiteboard or anything. She was a guy helping me learn how to study on my own, to be not to have to rely masyado on someone telling me. It's more like, oh, you can figure it out. You can find ways. If you don't understand it, you can either look for me for help, or you can find other resources on your own. So we had other books, and then when nung naging ano na yung Khan Academy or yung YouTube, ayan, go, YouTube it, Google it, ganun. So, yun, that was my first day. Meron akong space, and then ginaid ako ng mom ko gently until I was able to do it on my own a few months later. So
Mhm.
that was how my first day was.
Okay. So parents, that's one good thing that we can learn from Elise, no? You can find other resources. Don't rely on your own self because nandyan si YouTube, nandyan si Google, no? You can ask. Because other parents would be afraid, paano yan? I don't know how to teach my daughter or my son this topics, this science topic, this math topic, no? There are other resources that you can find online. And you would be surprised, no? Ang dami-dami. Aside from what she mentioned, yung Khan Academy, it's a good resource. Pero madami pa talaga. Maging matyaga lang tayo in finding those resources online. Pero of course, since you have been homeschooling for quite some time now, of course, there would be problems that you encountered. So can you share some of those issues or challenges that you have encountered, and how did you cope up? I mean, what were your strategies?
There was a period during homeschooling na since I was being independent, there were times when there was a phase na I was super unmotivated to do anything. And then to the point na sometimes my mom thought na I was studying, but I wasn't studying na because at that time she was already trust. I was already doing good work na, like I was showing what I've done for the day, ganyan ganyan. But then there was a point na I got super lethargic and I don't wanna do anything. So I would waste time talaga. I wasted time. And then my mom would tell me, what happened? What did you do for the day? And she talked me through it. And then the next day, okay, make bawi. But then yun na naman, I'll be unmotivated again. So I think that was one struggle for me na since it's like you become independent, sometimes when you lose motivation, it gets difficult to get back in, especially when I was like 13 or 14, so I was in puberty, oh, I don't want to study, ganyan. But then, buti na lang my parents were patient with me about it. Na, not naman they let me, but it was more like, okay, may pinagdadaanan yan. O sige, we'll just make sure na, we won't get mad at her, but we'll just make sure na, if I don't work, that's when they step in na parang, oh, why didn't you do it? You have responsibility. But then, so yun, it was like for just a short while na I was so unmotivated to learn. But then eventually, I started my subject started becoming more interesting to me. And then the other resources, like what you mentioned, like there's also other YouTube videos that had supplementary videos on science, which I didn't like at the time. And because of the videos, I started getting interested again. And then there's also since I was getting older, I started realizing, wait a minute, hala, I'm going to go to senior high school soon ah. I'm getting older ah, hindi na to pwede ah. Parang I suddenly had a light bulb on the, oh, I'm getting older. And then I ran to my parents, Mom, Dad, paano na? I've been slacking off so much. What am I going to do? And then they were like, yeah, now you know what happens if you slack off. You get stressed out. Okay, what do you do now? Oh, I have to study. I have to study. Okay, go study. So, hala, notes lahat. Study. It was so funny. But yun, I had to learn it the hard way. Pero yun talaga, I can't forget anymore na parang, that's what happens when you slack off. It's not like someone just telling you na parang, this is what's gonna happen when you slack off, okay? And like, okay, then I won't slack off. It was more like going through the experience of what happens when you realize, oh no, I haven't done anything. So I think that was one of the things that I learned from homeschooling na, the experience of it. Because if you do slack off in school, I mean, you can slack off in school, but you won't really feel it na lang until later. You don't have the time to realize things kasi so many things are happening. But then yun, when I slacked off, I realized, oh, wala na. I have to catch up na. And because I was on my own time, I was able to catch up rin. Because I worked harder. I wasn't waiting for other people. I was able to catch up eventually. So that was one struggle. But we just resolved. And then the other struggle was, yun nga, very common question is like friendship. Because I was so used to having friends and kausap. Like, so I was really, maybe that was also one part of my unmotivation at the time. It was because I missed the social experience. I missed it a little bit. But then, luckily at the time, we found another homeschooling family. Na the eldest daughter was my age, the eldest son was my brother's age, and meron pang isang bunso. So it was like we were exactly the same age. So buti na lang, we had play dates every week, kahit weekday. We'll play, we'll go on a field trip somewhere, we'll go to the zoo, I know, not the zoo, the butterfly farm kunyari at the time. Then we'll go firefly watching, or we'll go to the beach. So even though it wasn't a lot of friends, one good friend was really helpful. And then as time went on, we started getting more friends from the area. We started really getting roots in our community, that my mom's friends had kids, even if some were older or some were younger, they became our friends na yan. And then now, a few years later, I have a good circle of friends na different ages. A lot of them are younger than me, but it's okay kasi they're cute naman eh. So a lot of them are younger than me. Some of them are older. Some of them are even the parents of our students who are preschoolers. Like even if I don't consider them friends, they're close enough to talk to and ask for advice. So it was really some very different set of friends compared to like the high school barkada. It's very different, but it's also very rewarding na iba-iba yung age, iba-iba yung experience. So, there's always gonna be a part of me na will think na parang, ano kaya would have happened if I had a high school barkada? But then, on the other hand, I'm also happy na with the friends I have now. Because it's very funny, like what happened. Some old, some young, it's very fun.
Ang galing, no? I like what you said about your realization, no? You learned the hard way. And you also mentioned about managing your time. So, ang galing kasi these are some of the things that sometimes school will not be able to give you because of a different structure, no? Galing. And maybe, no, Elise, what was your unforgettable experience while homeschooling?
Maybe the realization na parang you realize, oh, I'm taking advantage of this naman. I'm not taking advantage. It's like I'm not I'm not taking advantage of this opportunity to learn. Like all this time that I have and all these resources, what am I doing? I'm slacking off. So I think that was the most unforgettable part na when I realized na I don't know how it happened, but there was this one period when I realized, no, wait a minute, I can manage my own time. I have so much resources. My parents are supportive of me, and I have quality education. Why am I not doing anything with it? And like I panic because oh it's such a waste. So that's was my most unforgettable experience when I finally realized, oh, this is a good opportunity. And sayang, go do something. So that's what that was my most unforgettable experience.
Ang galing ng realization mo na it's such a waste, no? You have your parents who very supportive, you have a good quality education available, ang daming resources online. I hope all our teens would realize that as well, no? Such a waste if you will not grab that opportunity. So
It's
would
hard
you
to
know?
realize that in school eh. It's hard to realize
Mm-hmm,
that in school because it's like routine na parang, okay, go to school, friends, study, whatever. Parang sometimes you forget na. I mean, a lot, not just me, but I have friends who will go to school who realize na parang, wait a minute, education is so valuable pala. Education is so important. We won't have a future without it. Lahat. So, I was very lucky na this was my situation.
That's great. And so would you say that homeschooling helped you as an individual as well?
Yeah, because when I was in grade school, most of my like I said, I don't know if you remember, but earlier I said that my friends were my world. Like the classroom was my world, lahat. So I wasn't really thinking, I wasn't really looking outside of it. I wasn't really exploring because I was already caught up in the drama. Who cried today? Like that. It was very exciting because it's like a small world naman talaga, your classroom. There are different types of people. But then also, you can forget na parang marami ring ibang nangyayari around you outside. So, I think na if I stayed in school, maybe I would have gotten caught up so much in school lang. and I wouldn't have really been open to what's happening outside. So
Mm-hmm.
when I was homeschooling, I was reading a lot. I had so much time to read. I had so much time to watch movies. I wrote letters to my family. I called them up, ganun. And then what else? I had the internet now. That was the time when I got access to the internet, and I started making friends that weren't from the local schools. And then my parents put up this preschool, and we learned. I was able to observe how to put up a business, and then there was this opportunity to write for a newspaper. O, sige, try it, ganon. Then there were these online stuff happening. So if I stayed in school, I probably would have, because of my personality, I would have really enjoyed school. I would have just stayed in that bubble. But because I was homeschooled, I had to figure out what do I like ba? Like what kind of thing, what am I interested in? Like what kind of person am I? And then like what do I want to do when I grow older, or what do I want to that like that. So it really gave me the time and the space to grow, and I had attention on me from my parents. So I was very lucky because I was able to figure out, even though I'm still figuring myself out, marami pa akong di alam. I was able, if I was in school, I probably would have been much more confused or a bit more lost compared to now. So I'm grateful na I was able to figure myself out here, and yun nga, those realizations. Maraming mga ibang
Mm-hmm.
realization when you homeschool, like little things that happen because you have so much time to think, and you have so much like, ikaw lang talaga, you have to focus on yourself. Then. So that's what yeah.
All right. And you mentioned earlier that during while you were homeschooling, you also have play dates, you have field trips, you go to the beach with your friends because other people would see homeschooling as only the four corners of their room, no?
Mm.
So sa homeschooling pala, may socialization din. I mean, you still can go out, right?
Yes, very. It's just, marami rin kaming friends na that other homeschooling family. Since we're both homeschooled, we had more time to see each other, so we became better friends. So she's my best friend na, ganun. But
Mm-hmm.
then, we also have friends who go to school. And we were able to maintain that friendship by working around their schedule. Because since we're flexible around their schedule. Na. So we met them through workshops. We met them through parents' friends. We met them through extracurriculars. And then, when they're free, kami na yung mag-adjust because expected, since we're not as pressured around the schedule, we can meet
Mm-hmm.
up with them on the weekends or pag holiday. Oh, let's meet up. It's more about finding opportunities for friends in many different places. Hindi lang, oh, yung sinong kasama mo, yun na yung friends mo forever. You look for your friends talaga. You can choose your friends. So, especially if you meet at a workshop, meron na kayong shared interests. Or if you meet at an extracurricular, yun, shared interest, shared experience na kaagad. So, it's very meaningful yung friendship. So, kahit konti lang yung friends mo, you can choose your friends and you can make the effort talaga to get closer to them. It's not like you're friends because you're together most of the day at school. You're friends because you choose to be their friend. You choose to
Mm-hmm.
see them on the weekends. Na if they can't, you make the effort to adjust. Oh, sige, another day. Ganon. So even the socialization might not come as naturally, but then the socialization you do get will be more meaningful.
Ang galing. And ilang taon ka na nga ulit, Elise?
I'm 17 po.
17. Parang it feels that I'm not talking to a 17-year-old lady, no? Ang galing ng ideas, ang galing ng realization, no? I'm just so proud of you. Pero let's go back to your communication with your parent. Would you say that homeschooling gave you a better platform wherein you're able to better communicate with your parent, o parang same lang naman if you go to a traditional school?
Mm, since I was a kid, I've been very close with my parents. Like I've been lucky to have a good relationship with my family. Pero of course, nung grade 3 pa nga lang, already whole day classes na yun, I only get to talk to them lang at breakfast and at night, at dinner, or when they pick me up from school. Yun na lang talaga. So I can't imagine how much less time I'd spend with them when I'm in high school na, when the pressure is more, or like when I have to stay longer at school. So In terms of communication, definitely I was able we were able to maintain that closeness because I know of people who they drift away from their parents as they get older. So since I grew up homeschooling, I was able to I I didn't drift apart that much. It was more of learning to communicate with my parents as I got older. Because syempre, when you get a teenager, you don't understand me, mom, or you don't get me, dad. But then when things like that happen, my parents will be like, "Oh, then talk about it. Why? Why? Show help us understand." So we need because we weren't like, "Oh, you have school tomorrow. Let's not talk about it anymore." It was more like, "Oh, okay, talk about it now. What? Why do you feel that way?" So, because I was homeschooling, I was able to spend more time with them to like process my emotions, ganun. Or like see their side rin and then they can see my side rin. So I was able, as a teenager, it was very helpful because yun nga, since they're different generations, sometimes it's difficult for them to understand or difficult for me to understand them. And because of the time that we're always together, we're able to understand each other better and we become friends in the sense na we know what they like, they know what we like also, we laugh with each other, ganun. So it's just really, I'm really grateful for that na I was able to really get to know my family as more than just, my mom, my dad, and my brother. It's like, oh, my mom's like this, my dad's like this, my brother's like this. So, very helpful.
Mhm, mhm. So homeschooling was really parang it gave you time, no? Not only to process your emotion, not only to get to know better your family, but also yourself, no, as an individual. Pero you mentioned about some online activities that you have joined. I know that you have also joined a youth leadership program. Can you tell us more something about this program, the Southeast Asia Youth Leadership? What was it about?
Oh, last year they people in Palawan, there were students in Palawan who were being scouted by the U.S. Embassy for a Southeast leadership program in the U.S. So the program would be training us in leadership skills and exposing us to different Southeast Asian cultures as well as American culture. Then at the end of the program, we'd make our own organization and our own initiative in Palawan. So five of us were chosen to go to Chicago in the US with other delegates from other parts of Southeast Asia. So, but sadly, it was supposed to take place in April. We were supposed to leave April 1, but lockdown was March something, March 20, March 15 or March 14. So,
Mm-hmm.
hindi natuloy. Hindi natuloy. But we were able to prepare and like we were able to like assess what are the needs of our community
Mm-hmm.
and what would help the youth, especially since it's just a youth leadership program. How could we serve the youth of
Mm-hmm.
Palawan
Mm-hmm.
given this opportunity? So hopefully it will resume next year. Kami pa rin yung makakapunta. But as of now, we're all of our us delegates are keeping in touch and sending each other articles and talking about different types of initiatives that are happening around us, the Philippines. So we're still hoping na kami pa rin makakapunta next year. But as of now, yeah, hoping pa lang.
Okay, galing. So, five teams were chosen. And then, but prior to this quarantine, prior to pandemic, how are you able to prepare for that competition while homeschooling, while doing your math and science performance-based assessment and your written works?
Again, it was time management a lot. If I knew we had a meeting on a certain day, then I'd make sure that the work for that day I'd do on a different day. Or at night, I'll do it na lang at night. And then, yeah, time management talaga. And also adjusting, again, being flexible to their schedules also. Because since I had the privilege to be able to change certain classes or adjust my workload, and then sila, they had
Mhm,
to go to school pa.
mhm,
It was less pressure on me talaga. Like, I didn't have to worry about, hala, I still have class tomorrow plus this project. It was more like, oh, I have this project. Oh, and I also have lessons. Parang ganun. it wasn't very difficult. So if for like other people who want to focus on projects, making their own projects, homeschooling talaga is so easy. It'll be so easy for you to focus on those projects while studying.
Okay. So since we have a lot of newbies watching us, no, and this actually the purpose of this video is to help the newbie parents and of course their children. So what tips can you give to students who will start to homeschool this school year?
That's if it's the first time, it's going to be different talaga from regular school. Even though
Uh-huh.
matagal na yun since I went to traditional school, I still remember having to adjust. Kasi you're not going to be fed information anymore. You have to learn yourself. You can't just copy on the whiteboard anymore. You have to read talaga and understand it. And you can't copy from the notes of your friend. You can't ask for help from your friend. Ikaw na talaga. But then also, it's okay rin na when you realize you don't know things. Like, kasi that means na, at least now you know, now you can learn it. You can study more of it if you're having a hard time with a specific subject. Now you don't have to worry about making habol with everyone else. You have more time to get better at it. And then also ask for help talaga. Ask for help. If you're not used to asking your parents for help, you really have to ask your parents for help now because they're the only ones there na there's no teachers, there's no classmates, it's your parents. And if they don't understand, they can also ask for help. It's okay. It's very forgiving in the sense na parang it's okay if you don't know things. It's okay kung nahihirapan ka as long as you make the effort rin to get better at it or to ask for help also. So, yeah, it's not going to be easy na parang you can just do it. But if you're willing to, yun nga, learn and if you're willing to ask for help from people who know what they're doing, then it's going to be much simpler.
Mhm.
You won't be on your own. Because even if it can feel like you're on your own, ikaw lang in your house and your parents, there are a lot of other people who are also homeschooling, who are also going through that. And then there are teachers who are available for tutoring. So you're really not alone. You can, as long as you make the effort to look for help and ask for help. Right?
That's right. As long as you make the effort, no, in asking help. Galing. And we say that homeschooling is a parent-led education, that relationship matters when you are in homeschooling. So what can you share about your family relationship while homeschooling?
There were times, of course, na because they're my parents, we get inis at each other. Why, I don't understand. But what's nice rin about it is that sometimes our parents learn with us na rin. Like, they help us figure it out. Na sila rin, they're also figuring it out. So, us kids, we know that our parents rin don't know everything. But what's important is that they're making the effort to help us figure it out. And then, or they give us the resources. Na, if we don't know it, it's okay. Let's ask someone else. So that. And outside of academics, it's also easier to talk to them about anything. Like, or here's an idea I have, or what do you think, or like this or that. Or if I'm having issues with a friend that I don't even see often, like this, if I have a friend, I'll tell them na kaagad, oh mom, what should I do? What should I say? Like this, like that. Or if there are opportunities, or if there are opportunities that we can take, they'll push us to do it outside of school. Or if we watched a movie together, something as small as a movie together, we can talk about it, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. And during homeschooling, we watched a lot of movies that our parents like growing up. So we got to connect with our parents in the sense na we kind of grew up the same way they grew up. So like that's friendship, diba? Parang shared experience with your other friends. So yan tuloy, we became kind of friends with our parents na we say a movie reference na alam nila kasi we watch the movies they watch growing up. If they say a movie reference or like a song reference or a TV show reference, alam namin yan kahit we're so much younger. So my mom made a joke na before na parang we're our dad's best friend because everything that he liked, he made us read. So comic books, superhero movies, comedy TV shows. Alam namin yung lahat. So we can talk about anything. So we're our dad's best friend today. So it was really nice na we got to grow up with the things they grew up with, and then they saw us growing up. They know what we grew up with also. So there's less of a divide or like a generation gap, even if they're parents. We get where they're coming from, they get where we're coming from, and we understand each other. And kahit nag-aaway, we at least know na they're mad because of this. Even if we don't agree, we know why they're mad. It's not like, why are they mad at me? So yeah, that's why that's what we really got from homeschooling. We became really good friends with our parents.
Ang galing, no? You're able to understand each other. So at least na-bridge yung generation gap, no? Galing. So my last question, Elise, what was the best thing that you love about homeschooling? I mean, what was your best memory, if there is one?
Mm, because maybe since I'm homeschooled, I have a lot of again time na not just like to myself, but also to like make muni like, oh, why is it like that, like that? Because I was really like that already when I was younger. I always like to space out and just think about things. But as I grew older, parang naging productive yung pag space out ko. Yeah, I was able to think about problems or like since I'm a writer now, I was able to think of what I want to say, like verbalize what I write down exactly like what I want to communicate. And I think the happiest moment is when I realized na one day na parang, it's very vague, but like when I realized na, wow, this is actually nice, ha? Like, I have this homeschooling isn't that bad, ah. Parang gano'n. Like, there started a feeling there because before I used to not want to homeschool anymore because, like I said earlier, I missed friends and I missed like the excitement and the ano. But then there came a point na one day I was just doing my schoolwork, looking out the window, ganun, writing I had to write something for the newspaper. And parang, oh, this is nice, ha? It's not that bad, ah. Okay pala to homeschooling na to. Okay, I'm happy. Parang ganun. Like, I mean, there's struggles, but it's okay. It's not so bad. Like, okay. So, it wasn't really a specific moment. It was just like a feeling that started happening after a few years. So, it's like, oh, this is nice. Very peaceful lang.
Ang galing, no? Parang movie. Pan the camera, look outside,
Yeah,
view the scenery.
exactly. Yeah, like, and back to you na parang, oh, this is okay pala. I'm growing up.
Yes, you are. And you mentioned that you write for the newsletter. So can you tell us more about it? And can you invite our viewers if they want to read some of your articles?
Oh, I write for our local publication, Palawan News. So it's printed here in Palawan, but it's also accessible online. So I have a column there, meron akong name. So if you click my name, you can see the stuff I've written. So I've written since I was 14, so up to 3 years na. Maraming maganda, maraming not that's good, but they're all there. They're all there if you'd like to read it. And then sometimes I also submit to the CFA newsletter also.
Yes, and you are a very good writer, Elise. And thank you
Thank you.
for thank you for giving us your time and for helping
Thank you,
the
Elsa.
parents as well and the teens. No, at least they would get a feel of how it is to homeschool. No, high school edition. Thank you again, and
Thank you.
all right, thank you, and we hope we're able to help you, and we'll see you on the next video. God bless everyone.